When did you realize that being the cool girlfriend was a load of shitty? When I got broken up with anyway, I had thought being chill and cool was a way to protect myself from that. But it didn't even work. So why bother being inauthentic and putting up with s I don't like? Same here. Being low maintenance and super chill actually just made me a doormat that he could toss in the trash when he was done with me. F that. That's why we need friends. They can alert when the border between chill and doormat is being crossed. When I realized it was an attempt to manipulate me into expecting less from them, I'd rather not be a girlfriend than try to be a cool one. When I first started dating my fiancé, he one day said, "You're such an easy, cool girlfriend." And I looked him dead in the eye like that is not the compliment you think it is. Thankfully, he learned that if he wanted an easy girlfriend, he'd better still put in the reasonable effort, or I'm going to become very difficult very quick. When I came to terms with the fact that cool in my case actually meant doormat, no boundaries, no standards, and was doing a lot of damage to my self-worth, this sums up my experience as well. I hope you're doing better these days. We should all stop calling it the cool GF and call it what it is. Oh, so what you want in a GF is a doormat? When you have to be your partner's mom in practice, that S is exhausting. Exactly this. I was the cool wife to my ex and did everything for him and was super chill about his BS. But that S got old so fast I asked for a divorce before our 1 year. Wow. I stayed and did all that for 9 years until I finally had enough. Wish I would've seen it earlier on. I just thought this was the way it was supposed to be. When I got taken advantage of, being chill and cool and never starting an argument means I never stood up for myself or set boundaries. I did the same, and I wish I hadn't. Standing up for yourself and having boundaries is critical. I know that now. After I watched Gone Girl, I did everything he asked. From hobbies to sex acts to buying him things. All of it. Things that made me uncomfortable. Things I said no to at first and then changed to a yeah. Okay. I guess when he cajoled me into it, I tried not to be too vocal when the things he/we did caused me physical pain. Because he was clearly enjoying it, I paid the deposit on his apartment, bought all of his furniture, did his laundry and dishes, cleaned and vacuumed his place, and we didn't even live together. I was driving 2 hours every weekend to be a bang maid. He cheated on me with a man while I was in the next room and then left me for said fella. When the gentleman in question was like, "Lol, no, I don't want a relationship. I just thought sex with your girlfriend in the next room was hot." He tried to get back together with me. Something in me just popped and I said, "Why the fuck would I want to do that?" And hung up the phone before I consciously registered what was happening. After I had lost my entire identity to be his girlfriend, I was seriously suicidal because he had alienated me from all my friends and was working on doing that with my family. I had no hobbies, no ambitions, no idea what I liked, and no idea who I even was. I couldn't eat regularly for like 6 months and lost a ton of weight. When I wasn't at work, I was on the floor of my apartment in tears. I wanted to go back to him because at least I was someone when I was with him. On my mother's encouragement, I went back to school to rediscover myself. I love who I am now and feel in touch with myself. I'm in the process of wrapping up my first degree and beginning my second, and will graduate near the top of my class. I recently found myself in a situation where I was tempted to give it all up for a guy again. But I'm stronger now, so I resisted. F being the cool girlfriend who goes along with whatever he wants. Sometimes this means you will have to break your own heart, but stay strong. Be cool in your own way, and if dudes don't like it, they are not the one for you. When I was sat there listening to my ex-BF go on about women's looks and bodies, rating them out of 10 as they came onto this dating show we were watching, I told him I found it disrespectful, and he got so pissy, saying I was just jealous because I'm only in 7/8 and that he wouldn't lie just because I was his girlfriend. Yeah, I realized in that moment at 17 years old that being the cool GF sucked. Now I'm just chill, with communicated boundaries and mutual love. Much better. Great question. I love that I can pinpoint this moment nearly 17 years later. I was the "cool girl" and put up with everything. We lived in a 3-decker apartment where we were on the top floor and below us were all his friends in the apartments below. They partied all the time and he joined them. There was alcohol and usually drugs involved. But I was cool. I didn't say anything. I was a good silent wife. One night, my husband was at work and I was in bed with the babies. It was 3 AM and the party downstairs just got louder and louder, and then they started throwing things down the hall stairs. Ironing board, iron, folding chairs, etc. For no reason, except that they were wasted. Obviously this woke both babies. I came out and yelled at them holding my 1-month-old and went back to bed. The next morning, I get up to put the TV on for the kids and I'm exhausted, and they had taken scissors and cut the cord to my cable on purpose. I went down and called them out and they laughed in my face. That was the last time I was a cool girl. My husband ended up losing it and kicking them out when he got home. It's almost 2 decades later and some of these men are only having children now. I see them occasionally and they look equally ashamed of their past behavior and infuriated that I stood up for myself. Still years later, horrible people, and that's all you end up surrounded with when you're the cool girl. Terrible men who are angry and have no regard for you as a human being. Edit. Sorry, didn't mean this to be a book, but it was so cathartic. After my NTH casual dating disappointment, I've always been a major fan of the cool girl monologue, and much like her, I was critical about women who lost themselves to the men they were dating. But after reflecting on my experiences the last year or so, I realized it was me. I think I started my dating journey with a strong sense of independence and a solid sense of self. But the more you date all these awful, disappointing men, the more desperate you become to get picked as more than someone's F-buddy. It gets so depressing trying to play certain aspects up / play them down so you can figure out whatever fits some guy's cool girlfriend fantasy, the thing that stops his eyes from glazing over and lets him / see you. Honestly, men, for the most part, are not interested in women in their own right. Men are interested in women as periphery characters in their life. They see them as supporting cast. It feels like the onus is on you to prove your worth. It's even more disappointing when you realize that guys either see you as someone to F or someone to date / marry, and you have a very short window to convince them you're the latter. So sometimes, I felt that instead of being me, I was trying to win a call back to play the part of girlfriend, which is why I had to take a break. In the process, you stop remembering what makes you interesting, unique, and valuable outside of what men think of you. Young, as soon as childhood friends who were boys started getting interested in girls and hearing how some of them talked about girls, talk about any human being in that way, and I know they're opposed. Realizing I will get dumped / guy will lose interest anyways. That makes a lot of sense to me now. It's a little silly, but did anyone else read The Clique and subsequent series by Lissy Harrison? The books would seem horribly dated now. They were definitely of the time, and the 00 Sprivet school kids in Westchester County from super wealthy families. Big drama girl / boy, middle school social pyramid stuff. After a convoluted series of events, the main characters were spying on their crushes in emotional sensitivity class in order to gain information to better line up with the boys' ideals. One of the boys talked about how he didn't like fussy, high maintenance girls who worry about things like calorie counts and their macube running. So the girl who had a crush on him, who actually read a lot like someone with an eating disorder most of the time, went out of her way to be cool girl material, acting like one of the guys eating whatever junk food they ate, not worrying about her appearance, laughing at the same crude jokes they did, and within a few weeks, they overheard the boy she had a crush on talking about how gross she was, that he wanted a girlfriend who actually acts like a girl, to say nothing of the fact that the rest of them had been slowly noticing that their friend wasn't acting at all like herself. Most of the drama went right over my head, but that little bit stuck with me. I think the unfairness of it, not only was she ignoring things that were important to her and changing herself to someone's ideals, the boy in question mocked her behind her back for who she became by trying to be what he had wanted in the first place. When I realized that men perceived that as a weakness and did s thinking I wouldn't react. When I saw that all that enabled was hurtful, poor behavior from the partner and sometimes their friends. Watched Gone Girl when I was young and before I got into a relationship, so I never tried to be the cool girlfriend. Also, I'm an only child and only grandchild, so to say that I'm a high maintenance girlfriend would be an understatement. Good for you. Call it high maintenance. Call it whatever you want. I call it looking out for yourself and putting yourself first. This is coming from someone who spent years putting others first and naively thinking they'd return the favor. Nope. If you don't make yourself a priority, no one else will. When I tried establishing boundaries, and they were called controlling, and that according to him, my boundaries were flaws of mine and things that I need to work on. I learned from two abusive elder brothers that being the cool little sister that took all the shit rolls downhill bullshit without having a negative reaction was a losing and rigged game that only got worse. By the time I left my home, I was aware of all sorts of ways to abuse someone and convince them that sensitivity or being jolly or nerdy was unacceptable and I should apologize for being me at all times by not being offended and by deferring to the older, stronger male. Fuck em. I was awesome. Still am. I read the book Female Chauvinist Pigs and it was eye-opening. It explores why some women act like that to other women. What are they getting out of it? Does playing into men's fantasies really help anyone? It's been a while since I read it, and unfortunately it got lost when I moved. But that was the gist. Gone Girl solidified it for me. I'm gonna track that book down. I've got new plans for the weekend. Men use chill/cool girl as in a girl who won't mind whatever I do to her and others, so yep. When no matter how many times I showed up as the cool girlfriend or the cool wife, I was still labeled delusional. I particularly enjoy the responses I'm seeing with regards to that, making permissible otherwise unacceptable behaviors being viewed as a chill. Lax so is a crock of s, because we can be the sweetest, most loving, encouraging, and fun to be around creatures, but at the end of the day don't we deserve to set boundaries and have realistic expectations of how we should be treated equally so? Sexism at its finest. Ladies, wake up. After 20 years of marriage, I'm slow. You're not alone. When I realized I lost my worth, I always tell people to love/treat themselves the way they want other people love/treat them. Not standing up for myself was like letting my partner know I wasn't worth much, meaning he could do whatever he wanted with me because I would let everything go. When he constantly complained about every single woman he had ever met, but then bragged that I was different, it hit me one day that I can see why all these women left him, and my name would be added to the pile of women he hated. No longer wanted painful, uncomfortable sex. I had no boundaries before and would be down for whatever. I had a lot of unsatisfying sex to fulfill my partner's different fantasies. There was a point in college where I was sleeping with an Arab guy. One night when I went to his dorm, he was on the phone speaking Arabic to someone. I don't know how I knew, but I picked up quickly that he was on the talking with another woman, attempting to have pillow talk with her. I came over to watch Harry Potter, order pizza and have sex, not listen to this guy shoot his shot with someone else. Something switched in me, and I always default to that moment when I want to hold myself to a higher standard. At 15, when I started spending time in feminist and woman-centered online spaces and realized the internalized misogyny and low self-respect behind wanting to be the cool girl. Fortunately, I hadn't had a boyfriend yet, and since I educated myself while being single, I never had to go through the embarrassing experience of trying to be the cool girlfriend. When I didn't get the cool BF in return, just the clueless guy who used me. Yeah, I have never genuinely seen a guy try to be the cool boyfriend.